Hi, Dan for Gear Diary, and I want to take a quick look at the HeyBike Ranger S. This is a new offering from HeyBike. This is an upgrade to their Ranger, which was already a really good bike, according to everybody who's reviewed it. This bike has really impressed me. Let's take a look at what it offers and why this might be the right e-bike for you, whether it's your first e-bike or you're replacing one that you already have been riding for quite a while. The Ranger S has an MSRP of just under $1,500. It's currently on sale. HeyBike does a lot of sales, but even at $1,500 just below, it is actually a really a good deal in my opinion. It's available in blue, red, sand, or gray, so you get a little pop of color. I really love this color. It's a little bit different, but it's not too much. And I really love the fact that it's got the Ranger S name right there and the HeyBike logo right over there. The battery is actually sitting right here, and it comes out using this key. There's a charging port down here, so you can charge it when it's in the bike. You can also charge it by taking it out and charging it in your house, in your garage. I love this. It's a real upgrade from the original Ranger. The original Ranger had an exposed battery that was fully exposed on the back. This is more integrated. It does two things. A, it makes it a little less likely that it's going to get stolen, but B, it just gives it a much cleaner look. I think it really looks phenomenal, and it gives it this really sturdy appearance. It's got this little bit more of a stocky look to it. People are really worried about the batteries these days, and it's important to note that this battery is UL 2849 rated. That means that HeyBike has been careful to make sure that the battery meets all of the certification standards that are critical for fire and electrical safety. One of the things that's worth noting is that along with this battery, which is again pretty substantial, you get a 48 volt 4 amp charger. That is more powerful than most of the chargers you get with bikes, and the result is that you're going to get full charge from zero in about 3 to 4 hours versus 6 to 7 hours, which you get with a 2 or a 3 amp hour charger. So this is a much more powerful charger. It gives you a much faster top off, but still it's about 3 to 4 hours. The hub motor is a 750 watt brushless gear motor, which gives you a good bit of power. That's an upgrade over the Ranger. That is really kind of the top of what most people who want to stay within the legal limits in most states want. And it gives you plenty of power, it gives you plenty of torque. I'm really very satisfied with it. Between the battery and the motor, you should get about 55 miles per charge on pedal assist. I'm not somebody who tends to use a lot of pedaling when I'm riding. I tend to use heavy throttle. And so I'm definitely not getting 55 miles, but it's plenty of range, especially as a commuter bike around town. This is a class 3 e-bike, so that it will go up to 20 miles an hour on class 2 settings, but if you turn it to class 3, you can get up to 28 miles an hour, which is about as fast as I kind of like to go on one of these things. Let's take a walk around the bike. So first off, you've got these hydraulic brakes. These are really terrific. They work very well. I still need to do a little adjustment, but they do an excellent job of stopping the bike along the way. You have a front hydraulic suspension, which works really quite well. It's oil dampening. It has an adjustable spring so that you can adjust how much or how little it is softening your ride. You can also lock it out if you want to have a heavier ride, a harder ride. You get this really nice new HeyBike light. It actually has low and high beams, which is great for night riding for safety. It has a feature which is kind of cool, which is that it automatically turns on if you have the bike connected, the battery connected up, and you take it inside or it's dark at night. That's great at night. You don't have to remember to turn it on. It's a pain in the neck if you're putting it in the garage or you're using it inside the house to work on it, because then you have to go into the settings to turn it off. But it is a nice feature to have. You just have to learn how to turn it off, turn it on. You've got attachment points for baskets. This is a great commuter bike, so you might want to think about picking up one of the basket accessories that HeyBike makes available. I love that feature as well. I love the fact that you don't have standard spokes. I love this look. I love the low maintenance of it. I just think it's a much better design. Two of my 4 e-bikes have wheels like this, and I really love it. I think it's just absolutely fantastic. Back here you can see the other brake, and again, it does a really good job of stopping you, which is important if you've got a Class 3 e-bike. On the back, you've got an integrated tail light, which has a brake light. So when you brake, the lights go on and lets people behind you know. That's a really nice safety feature as well. It also has turn signals. Let's take a look at the cockpit for a second. It's actually really nice. Everything here is standard with the exception of this. This is my Peak Design phone holder, which I use both for having my phone available when I'm riding, but also I flip it up if I want to record. That doesn't come standard, but I actually highly recommend it. It's phenomenal. You've got these nice handles right here. They have a leatherette with stitching. They're much more comfortable than a lot of the bike handles that I've used previously. The brakes are from RSX. I'm not familiar with the company, but they work really well, and they're just really, the position is actually perfect, very comfortable. You've got your controls right here, your lights, you've got your on-off, you've got your memory functionality, and then you've got your pedal assist modes are all controlled from here. Over here, you've got your light controls. You've got your brights, you've got your regular beams, you've got turn signals, left turn signal, right turn signal, we'll come back to that in a second, and you have a horn, which is really nice and light, electronic horn, works really well. The only issue I have with the turn signals is that there's no audible or visual indicator that they're on. So if you turn on a turn signal, you need to remember to turn off, or it's going to just keep going and confuse everybody around you. Over on this side, you've got another handle, obviously, another brake handle, obviously. You've got a 7-speed Shimano derailleur, which works really well. We've had it on other e-bikes that I've reviewed, and it's actually on 2 of the other ones that I have. It works fine. It's not the highest quality, but it works just fine. You then have a thumb throttle. I love thumb throttles. I like them a lot more than twists, unless it's a full twist, but you don't get those on most e-bikes. I like a thumb throttle. This is really convenient. And then you've got an auto button, so that if you get up to speed, you can actually just press auto and you get cruise control, which is amazing. Then you've got your display. The display is a monochrome display, but it gives you all the information that you need. We'll turn it on in a second, but it does the job that you need it to do. It's just nothing fancy. Again, this is not a high-end bike, and they had to actually cut corners somewhere. This does everything you need it to do, but it's not flashy, it's not splashy. One of the things I love is that the bike comes with a rear rack, and the rear rack actually can hold a fair amount. So in a lot of bikes at this price level, you actually have to add in the cost of the rack. You don't need that here. You also get plastic fenders. A lot of the bikes in this price point, you actually have to pay a little bit more for the fenders. You don't have to do that here either. And then finally, you've got the pedals, which fold in because this is a folding bike. So, and I'll have pictures in the review. We're not going to fold it right now, but there are pictures in the review. It actually, the handle folds down here, and then it folds in half right there. Now here's the thing about the folding. This bike weighs over 70 pounds. You're not going to fold it and put it in the trunk of a car like mine. I don't have an SUV. But what you can do is save a lot of space when you're not riding the bike by folding it. If you have an RV, it makes it easier to throw in the RV. Or if you have an SUV, folding it may make it easier for you to transport so you can take it somewhere for a ride. But for me, the folding is not as big an advantage because I do not have anything but standard 4-door sedans, and this is still a little bit too big to comfortably go in there without worrying about damaging the bike or the car. So, but the folding feature is nice to have, just not ideal for the way I use the bike. And then finally, you've got the seat, which is, comfortable enough, but I definitely would recommend getting a suspension seat for this bike. The 2x4-inch fat tires do a really nice job of dampening the road, but the fact of the matter is nothing is going to be as good as either a suspension seat or having rear shocks, which you don't have a rear suspension. So I would actually recommend spending the money to get that seat. So overall, it is a really lovely bike. It works really well. It's at a really good price point, and what you get for that price point with regard to how it's tricked out, what you get from that price point with regard to the quality of the bike so far that I've found is phenomenal. And especially when HeyBike is having a sale, this bike is, I don't know if I would say a steal, but it is an absolutely worth every penny that you're gonna pay. You're gonna love this bike. I've been really, really impressed. This is the brand new HeyBike Ranger S. Let's cut to a little bit of video of riding the bike because I've been having a blast on it. Dan from Gear Diary, let's go to the ride. Let's go. 10, 20, and that's 28. That's 28 on throttle only. Yes, it was going down a hill, but not bad at all. Handles really nicely. It's a pretty smooth ride.